For me, when I'm playing a multiplayer game with real people, my strategy is going to change pretty subtly at the beginning of the game, but as soon as that you make contact, I think is when it really starts to flip, particularly when you're sitting right next to the guy. Like they're sort of under the table diplomacy going on and all this kind of stuff, or trash talking as the case may be. But the character of the game changes a lot. I really like to play Civilization with people, like in the same physical space, because you get that awesome feedback.
I think it's always a more irrational game. Like you play like school children in multiplayer. I don't think you can help it. Like just knowing that there's actual human competition and like sort of one-upmanship and petty rivalries going on will make you make dumb moves in the game and make you like overextend yourself and do something just for spite or just for amusement. And that's like part of the fun. Like single-player Civ is can be very rational. It's very strategic. Especially at the higher difficulty levels, there's very little room for error, especially if you know how well the AI can play and exactly how it works. And it's fun to just let go of that in a multiplayer game and just, for instance, I know Will. I knew he was going to come with soldiers. I knew he was going to come with covert ops. So I just had those ready, and I was like, those defenses are prepared, and I probably wouldn't have emphasized those quite as quickly if I was playing against AI.
Well, there's so much competition in a Civilization game. In any Civ game, there's competition everywhere. And in Beyond Earth, we've added all these new vectors for that kind of competition. And multiplayer is really cool because that plays out like it did for us, between human players, not just the AI. So while I think mechanically, the multiplayer in Beyond Earth is very similar to Civ 5, with the exception of Pit Boss, the addition of Pit Boss, and some bug fixes and things like that. These new vectors for competition and for drama make it a really lively experience. And a lot of the asymmetry that we've added into the game also makes it a quite different kind of multiplayer experience.
The asymmetry in combat in that game is really starts within the player's own civilizations, just getting your army on the field and tuning it, and customizing it, and making it the army that's yours. And then when you can use it to roll over your opponent's civ, it's all the more satisfying because it's a unique army. It has a unique attack and defense profile, and it's like a reflection of your attitude and your style and your skill, a lot more so than Civ has traditionally been able to do. What makes a good combat player in Civ isn't always necessarily being sort of better than the other players, but being especially good at your own style. And we really emphasize that in Beyond Earth. Like the way that the different affinities grow up to be totally different army styles, like the way that they fight is totally different. If you are better at being your army than that guy is at being his, then you're going to do better. And so it's a sort of a fun puzzle to solve, like how to master your own army style and then how to use it to outfox the other guy. So we've done a lot of talking and preparation and actual design to make it so that there isn't only ever one way to play an affinity. Like affinities are meant to map to any play style. Like in our multiplayer game, I was playing Supremacy, but I was going for a hard pacifist culture supremacy, which is a very strange version of it compared to the sort of aggressive battle robot style that most people think of. So when you go to war with anyone, all players who are at war act in sequence after all players who are not at war. So it's like peaceful world gets to play concurrently, and then warlike people get to play in the order that they are in. So,
which is their score.
Yeah, it's based on score order. So if you're on the back foot, you get the advantage of getting to go first.
And we've retuned how that score is calculated. I won't go into the details because it's probably one of the more complex calculations that happens in the game, that number that ranks you. There's a lot that goes in there, but we've tuned that and made a lot of changes to how that calculation works to be more appropriate for this game and to be more fair, because it does matter now when you have to take those turns in sequence. I think measuring your progress against other players is kind of difficult in a Civ game if you can't see them, because you can't see how big their territory is. You can't necessarily see how many cities they have or how many units they have until the very, very late game. So it's important to see who's ahead. So that was Civilization Beyond Earth multiplayer. Thanks for watching. The game comes out October 24th. We can't wait for you to play it.